Hey guys, welcome to Vlogmas day 13. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'm sitting down talking to you guys about my college experience so far. So basically, I wanted to talk about my first semester of college at Bowling Green State University. I have some questions here that I had ChatGPT just ask me. That way I can kind of have like a base frame of like my experience so far and everything like that. So yeah, I hope to do this either every year or every semester. I'm not really sure yet, but these are my answers as someone who just completed their first ever semester at college. So the first thing is, what's your major? I am majoring in media production. And what's your minor? I actually just like proclaimed my minor not too long ago, but marketing. So I am majoring in media production and minoring in marketing. What classes did you take? I took 2 media classes. I took Media 1030, Media 2600. I took Bio 1010, which was a lab science, Lead 1000, and then Ethnic Studies 1600. Let me just give you a like brief description of these courses. Media 1030 was basically like the development of media and the effects on society, kind of how like media affects culture and things like that is the best way to describe it. And then Media 2600 was a writing class, so I wrote scripts and some other things. It was a really fun class. I really enjoyed it. Those two courses are requirements specific for my major. So obviously everything that I took is a requirement in some capacity of like a gen ed, but these 2 courses I had to take. They were requirements that I had to take for my major. Bio 1010 was a lab science, as I already said. It was biology, so there was a lecture and a lab. I really enjoyed the class. I enjoyed my professor. He was really funny. And then I also enjoyed my lab instructor. He was also funny, and the labs that we did in that course were really fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed the lab. But I got my lab science done with for my major. I'm required 1 lab science and 1 non-lab science. I believe that's for every major, unless you're a science major or things like that, I'm assuming. I'm not really sure how that works because obviously I only know for my major. And then Lead 1000 is a course I took because I'm a part of the Leadership Institute, which I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more later in this video. And then the Ethnic Studies course that I took was Intro to Native Americans. I enjoyed the course, the workload wasn't bad, and I learned some new things. So what's been the biggest adjustment from living at home? Honestly, I would say the biggest adjustment is just being away from my friends and being away from my cat Winter. I feel like it wasn't a huge adjustment for me being away from my parents because I've always gone on like vacations and things without them. You know, I went to Europe without them. I would go on vacations every summer with my grandparents without my parents. So honestly, it kind of just feels like I'm on vacation without them. It is hard some days being away from my parents, I will say, but yeah, I definitely, it's kind of like I'm on vacation is how it feels with my parents. But with my friends, it's just hard being away from them. Like, I was with them, you know, every single day for however long, and then all of a sudden we're apart and only get to see each other every once in a while, and that's really difficult. And then also being away from Winter, you know, raising her from a kitten and being with her all the time, especially during COVID. And she also kind of has a little bit of separation anxiety from me, so it's kind of hard being away from her. But yeah, so I would say those are the biggest adjustments since being away from home. How have you been managing your time with classes, homework, and social activities? Honestly, the way I balance it is I just take a mental note or write down what I have to do and know, like, hey, you have to do this. This is a priority. In my mind, in my world, you know, my first priority is going to class. My second priority is getting my schoolwork done outside of class. And my third one is hanging out with my friends. I like to make sure I'm going to classes. I only skipped 2 classes. One was because I was ill the night before and it was an 8 a.m. course and I didn't want to go that morning. And I feel like that's valid. And the other time was I just wanted to go home early for fall break, so I skipped my class. but I only skipped 2 classes, and yeah, I made sure that I was going to class, I was on time to class, and I was taking notes and doing what I needed to do, which was very helpful when it came to exams. And then homework, honestly, I didn't really have a lot of homework. Some weeks I would have nothing, and other weeks I would have, like, every single class had something. Either I had to prepare for an exam or I had to write an essay. But I didn't really have a heavy workload, so honestly, there wasn't a lot of prioritizing I had to do with homework. And then social activities, social activities are just kind of like the last thing on my list. I started, like, me and my friends, we started to, like, get dinner after our bio lecture, or after our lab we would go and get lunch, and that's just, like, a time that we prioritized to go and do something together. Tuesdays, watching Dancing with the Stars. So really it's about, like, just prioritizing a certain time to hang out with those people. But yeah, it's just kind of like something that you have to go about as you're doing it. Like, as things come up, you kind of just have to figure out what's a priority in the moment. So yeah, I don't really have a way of, like, how I prioritized, I guess. Okay, how have you been staying connected with friends and family from home? I call my mom after certain classes every day. I call my dad every Sunday, or other days as well, but Sunday is, like, the day that we specified. My friends, we text in our group chat basically, like, every single day. I also talk to Addie frequently, like, almost every single day as well, or at least once a week we have a conversation. Hannah, snap her a lot, talk to her a lot as well. Yeah, I keep connected with my friends, and it's just, like, Snapchat helps a lot, but also too just, like, making time to, like, talk to them, and, like, sometimes we'll have a group FaceTime call, and we also make sure that when we're all in town we plan to spend time together. So, like, over break we have a thing planned where we're all gonna hang out and go watch a movie and come back and, like, have a sleepover and things like that. So it's just, like, important to do those things. But yeah, so just reaching out and, like, checking in. You don't have to talk every single day, but just, like, check in with your friends, you know? How have you been handling homesickness, if at all? I did have some homesickness in the beginning. Just calling my parents and calling my friends from home and, like, just talking to them about it. I mean, yeah, getting myself involved, or, like, going and meeting people was good, and, like, hanging out with people to kind of distract myself, I guess. But the homesickness went away for me pretty easily, pretty fast. What are you most looking forward to next semester? Next semester, I think I'm most looking forward to taking ASL. I'm required with my major to take 4 semesters of a language, and I chose ASL. ASL is a really hard class to get into, and I'm very lucky that I got into it my first try of getting into it. So I'm definitely excited for that class. Now it's time to talk about if I'm in any clubs, okay? And this has to do with Lead 1000, and this honestly might take up most of the time of the video. I joined the Leadership Institute. I got an email asking to apply if I wanted to, and honestly, the way it sounded to me, and the way it sounded to other individuals as well who I've talked to through the course, everybody said the same thing, that they felt like it was going to be like NHS to a capacity. If you don't know what NHS is, National Honor Society, you do service projects and give back to the community in different ways just through serving others. So it kind of just seemed like it would be something like that, and it also seemed like it was such a great honor to receive. So me and all the other people, we signed up for it. There was going to be, like, a retreat, and some other things as well, and it just sounded so nice. Like, service project, everything sounded great. Basically, to be in the Leadership Institute, you have to be in the Lead 1000 course. And first, let's talk about the Lead 1000 course. The course felt like it was just common sense. I feel like there's a lot of things in it that, like, it could have been an email, you know what I mean? I feel like it would have been better if half of the semester was content and the other half was service project, which I'll talk about the service project in a minute, but I just feel like that would have been more beneficial. Okay guys, I'm editing the video right now, and I don't actually say why I think it's beneficial, but I would like to say the reason I think it would be beneficial to have half content and half service project, because tell me why for 16 weeks I had to learn about like leadership and stuff, right? But I feel like if half of it was learning about the leadership and the other half was actually like leading and actually doing the process, it would have been just better. Like, it just felt pointless to be learning about leadership for that long, because it gets to a point where it's just common sense, and it's like you can learn about it all you want, but like you have to put it into action and actually do it. So I just feel like it would have been better to have it split up in half and like learn and be introduced, and then do your leadership project for the other half. So yeah, and then we could have also had like really cool leadership projects, but I'll talk about that in a sec. I don't even know words. Like, it just kind of felt pointless at times. I don't feel like it really helped me in any way. So then let's talk about the Leadership Institute. The Leadership Institute, you don't do anything with. You do a retreat, which it seems like it's a whole weekend. It's not. It is 4 hours, and it is team building activities with people that aren't even in your class. It's just like random people throughout the institute. And with that, they don't provide food or anything. You get like a 10-minute break in the 4 hours. And I went during the morning. It was like 9 to like, no, it wasn't even 4 hours. I think we were done at 2. So it might have been 5 hours. So from 9 to 2, I was at this Leadership Institute retreat. Literally, it was playing games, team building games. The only other thing that you do within the Leadership Institute, but it's through your leadership class, is a service project. Each student gets put into a group, and you are supposed to do a leadership project in your group and do something on campus and partner with a student organization. I think they gave like 5 weeks to do a project and put it together, which, whatever, but you don't have any time to work on it in class. It's all out of class, which is fine, but I just feel like we handed out candy and gave candy to students. We could have done so much more in a better, more meaningful service project if we had more time to work on it, which would be like, again, if we had half the semester on content and half the semester on the project. I feel like it would have been better. I feel like we would have had a better project as well. The thing that just frustrates me the most is that the Leadership Institute is so hyped up, but you don't even do anything in it. There's no service projects outside of class or service projects as a group, as an organization. There is nothing. They hype up the Leadership Institute. That means nothing. You don't do anything with it. You just say, oh, I'm in the Leadership Institute, but I don't do anything with it, which just frustrates me the most, because it was just a waste of my time and a waste of a class when I could have taken something else that would have bettered or progressed my degree. If you get an email about the Leadership Institute, I'm not telling you to not go for it. You can do whatever you want, but just take note that you really don't do anything within the institute. I think the Leadership Institute could be an amazing thing for students, a great way for students to have a community as soon as they get to school if they actually did something with it. But it just kind of feels lazy. So, with that being said, that is all I have to talk about in this video. There wasn't much. It's just a little bit talking about my semester. But let me know if you have any other questions, and I can answer it in a separate video. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 14. Bye, guys.